Today, I'm going to be giving you guys the new best build for every position, whether that be for Rec, Pro-Am, or Park in Season 5 NBA 2K22 Next Gen. Before we delve into things though, please like and subscribe. I mean, it costs you guys nothing, but helps me out so much, so please drop me a like real quick. Starting things off with the center build. For this build, obviously, you're going to want to go with the center position. For the body settings, I'd recommend going with 7'1", 237 pounds, and a 7'11" wingspan. And then for the body shape, I just usually go with the 5. Starting things off with finishing, you guys can see this is absolutely insane. The biggest reason why this build's finishing is so good is because you have a 99 standing dunk and you'll get Hall of Fame posterizer. You can definitely get way more finishing badges if you drop down your standing dunk to say a 90. But in my opinion, it's worth having a 99 standing dunk since I didn't really make this build to be a post scorer anyways. Next, moving on to shooting, you guys can see I have 19 shooting badges and a 73 three-pointer. This isn't a build that's going to be making a ton of whites, but as long as you know your jump shot, you're going to be able to green consistently, and you'll also be able to shoot very consistently. On to playmaking, obviously for a center build, the only thing that matters is pass accuracy, which I decided to bump up to an 85. This gives me 14 playmaking badges and gold bullet passer, which is very important. Next, on to defensive / rebound. You guys can see this is all around crazy. You're going to get gold brick wall, Hall of Fame intimidator, Hall of Fame rim protector, and Hall of Fame rebound chaser. And you're basically just going to be getting unlimited blocks and unlimited rebounds. Next, moving on to the physicals, you guys can see this is good, but not too crazy. If you guys are wondering, the reason why my acceleration is a little bit low is because it mostly helps with speed boosting with the ball. And on a 7'1" center build, you're literally never going to be dribbling, so you really don't need very much acceleration at all. And even though you only have a 64 speed, it definitely doesn't feel like you're unable to get up and down the floor or cut towards the basket. This build in total has 96 badges, which is pretty good. And you guys can see it can literally do everything in this game. If you want free throw on this build, what I'd recommend doing is drop down your offensive rebound to an 81. Also drop down your driving layup to a 60, and this will give you a 79 free throw. For the takeovers on this build, I'd recommend going with See the Future and Stuff Blocks. These are, in my opinion, the best big man takeovers. And then for the build name, you guys can see I built a two-way facilitator, which I think is a somewhat accurate name. So next, moving on to the power forward build. This is going to be a glitched build that has multiple steps. First thing you're going to want to do is make a brand new build at the shooting guard position. You guys are going to see this build is better suited to play small forward or power forward, but you do actually have to make this build at the shooting guard position, or you just won't be able to get the absolutely insane stats that you guys see me get. For this build, you're going to want to go with 6'3" and then max weight, max wingspan, and the burly body shape. Obviously, you're not actually going to leave the stats like this, but you do have to do this to glitch the build. And then for the attributes and takeovers, pretty much just upgrade this randomly. It really doesn't matter. You guys see I built a playmaking shot creator, but what you're going to want to do is scroll over to where it says edit build, and then pretty much just press circle or B to back out to the main menu. After that, you're pretty much going to want to edit the build you just made, and then pretty much just copy everything I'm about to show you guys. First, for the body settings, I'd recommend going with 2.05 meters, and then 106 kg and 2.31 meters for the wingspan. Starting things off with the finishing attributes, you guys can see this is all around very good. You're going to get a 92 driving dunk and an 88 standing dunk, and as well 27 total finishing badges. On to shooting, you guys can see this is also very good, and you're definitely going to be able to green very consistently on this build. For playmaking, you can upgrade ball handle and speed with ball if you want to, but personally, whenever I'm using a build like this, I'm not dribbling too much, so I decided to only upgrade the pass accuracy to an 85. On to defensive / rebounding. You guys can see this is absolutely insane. You're going to get 37 defensive / rebounding badges, which is already crazy. But not to mention, you're getting a 90 steal on a 6'9" build with Hall of Fame rebound chaser and gold rim protector. Not to mention, you're also getting silver clamps. So if you get the switch onto a guard, you can still stay with him. And then moving on to the physical, as you guys can see, this is very good. I don't really think I need to explain this. This build in total has 97 badges, which is crazy, especially since I wasn't really prioritizing the badge count on this build. If you want free throw on this build, what I'd recommend doing is drop down your speed 1 rating to a 71, also drop down your mid range to a 77, and then you can get a 73 free throw. For the takes, I would recommend going with pretty much the exact same takeovers as the previous build. I decided to go with stuff blocks first, since you're not going to be getting as many rebounds on this build compared to the previous build. And then you guys can see I built a two-way facilitating finisher, which I do think is actually a pretty accurate name. Moving on to the small forward build. Now moving on to the small forward build, this is going to be a lockdown build. For the position, obviously you're going to want to go with small forward. For the body settings, I recommend going with 6'7", 180 pounds, and a 7'1" wingspan. These are all around the best body settings for a lockdown build in my opinion. Starting things off with finishing, you guys can see this is pretty decent. You have a 92 driving dunk to get elite contact dunks. And even though this isn't a rim running build, you're definitely going to be able to catch a ton of contacts on this build. On to shooting, you guys can see I have 22 shooting badges as well as an 82 3-pointer. And on this build, you're definitely going to be able to green very, very consistently. I have in total 26 playmaking badges, which is very good. And also on this build, you can definitely dribble if you know how to. And then onto the defense of this build. You guys can see this is absolutely insane. You have 29 total defensive badges, which doesn't sound that crazy. But you have a 94 perimeter defense on a 6'7" build that also gets gold clamps and Hall of Fame interceptor. Plus, you're also going to get silver rim protector and gold intimidator. And then onto the physicals, you guys can see this is very, very good. I'm pretty sure you guys can see why they're good. In total, this build has 94 badges, which is pretty good. And all around can just do everything that you want a lockdown build to be able to do. Its defense is top tier and shooting is going to be knocked down. If you know how to dribble, its playmaking is also going to be good. And as well, this build gets elite contact dunks. If you want free throw on this build, what I recommend doing is drop down your offensive rebound to a 70. Also drop down your speed 1 rating to an 81, and this will give you an 82 free throw. On to the takeovers, I decided to go with double extreme clamps. After all, I did want this to be a lockdown build. And then you guys can see I built a two-way pass first swing, which isn't the best name in the world, but personally I don't really care too much. Next, moving on to the shooting guard build. For the body settings, I'd recommend going with 6'4", 188 pounds, and a 6'9" wingspan. And then starting things off with the finishing attributes and badges. You guys can see I have an 86 driving dunk and 15 finishing badges. And this build is also going to be able to unlock both the pro contact dunk package and the small contact dunk package. On to shooting, you guys can see this is very, very good. I have an 88 3-pointer and 25 shooting badges. And this build is definitely going to be able to green very consistent. Next, moving on to playmaking. You guys can see this is all around very solid for a shooting guard build. You're 100% going to be able to dribble very well and facilitate if you need to. Next, moving on to defensive / rebounding. This is actually a really good defensive build. You're going to get both Hall of Fame clamps and Hall of Fame interceptor, as well as silver intimidator, which is pretty good. And then moving on to the physicals, you guys can see this was very, very good. Also, you do need an 85 vertical to get the small contact dunk package. This build in total has 89 badges, which isn't too crazy, but you guys can see it can do pretty much everything that you want a 2-guard to be able to do. If you want free throw on this build, what I recommend doing is take away this random rating on standing dunk. Also drop down your speed with ball to an 84. And then I'd recommend bumping your free throw up to an 86. And then just pretty much throw all the rest of the ratings onto physical. For the takeovers, I decided to go with first extreme clamps and second limitless range. For this build, I definitely think these are the best 2 takeovers, but you can switch them if you want to. And then as you guys can see, I built a 2-way 3-point shot creator, which in my opinion is definitely a very sick name. So now moving on to the final build of the video is going to be a point guard build. For the body settings, I went with 5'11", 160 pounds, and a 6'4" wingspan. These are, in my opinion, the best point guard body settings. Starting things off with finishing, you guys can see I have 15 total finishing badges. And obviously, this build is definitely not a rim running build, but you're going to get pro contact dunks, and if you have an open lane towards the basket, 100% take it. For shooting, you guys can see you're just not going to be missing on this build. You have 33 defensive badges, as well as a 94 3-pointer, and with boost, that's going to end up being a 99 3-pointer. Next for playmaking, you guys can see I have 34 playmaking badges, as well as gold bullet passer, Hall of Fame quick chain, Hall of Fame handles for days, and Hall of Fame quick first step. And then moving on to defense, you guys can see this build can definitely hold its own on the defensive end. You are a little bit short, but odds are, unless you're playing twos, you're probably not guarding the ball anyways. But even if you are guarding ball, you're going to end up getting gold clamps, which is pretty decent. Moving on to the physicals, you guys can see this is also very good. You have a 96 acceleration, and if you get gym rat or do the Gatorade drills, that's going to end up being a 99 acceleration. So your speed boosting is just going to be super duper fast. This build in total has 102 badges, which is insane, and it's just going to be an absolutely crazy point guard build. Your 3-point hunting and just playmaking skills are absolutely crazy. It's not one of those builds that you can't dunk with at all, and additionally, you will be able to hold your own on the defensive end. If you want free throw on this build, all you're going to want to do is drop down the speed of the ball 1 rating. You will lose 1 playmaking badge, but you can get a 73 free throw, which is very good. For the takes, I decided to go double limitless range. These are definitely, in my opinion, the best point guard build, especially a point guard build like this that's primarily going to be 3-point hunting. And then you guys can see I built a playmaking shot creator, which is a pretty accurate name despite being way more versatile than the average play shot build. If you didn't make it this far into the video and enjoyed it, please like and subscribe. Let me know if there's any builds you guys want me to try out in the future. There's a gameplay video, a dribble tutorial, and the best animations on the screen right now. Like, comment, subscribe, go follow me on Twitter, and I'm out. Peace.